My gosh, we're so glad you're here. Welcome to the
Oh my
Investor
goodness,
Shop.
welcome.
Welcome to the Investor Shed, everybody. I'm Nick Beveridge, your host with Jeremy Kitchen. You're back again.
I'm back again.
Thank you for being back again. God, it was a nightmare when Brett was here.
Brett, by the way, you were not the nightmare. Nick just said he shit the bed, not you.
I just know Brett might be listening, so I like to say stuff like that.
Oh, okay, yeah. If anybody's listening at the beginning, it's Brett. Shout out to Brett Shoemaker.
Yeah.
Number 6 or 7 loan
At
guy?
least number 3.
At least, yeah, depending on who's
Yeah.
in the room with him, of course. Great guy.
Yep. All right. Thanks again, Brett, for being here. Come back some other day. Hey, you want to talk about real estate today?
Yeah.
We've been talking so much about AI and OpenClaw and all that stuff, and we might get into that a little bit. I know you guys love it. But let's talk about a new topic in real estate, which we never really get into much, but I think people can learn from it. And it is the disadvantages of not being better organized.
Yeah.
And what we're going to kind of go through today is personal experience by me. And some of it might be opinionated. All of it was my fault.
Hey, extreme ownership. That's great.
They're going to be a little bit different than what you might think or what you might hear on real estate investing, courses or whatever.
Sure.
But I'd like to get into some topics like organization, not necessarily for like LLCs.
Sure.
But just having your finances organized.
Important.
Taking certain steps when you sell properties to not cost you extra money.
Yeah.
How to maybe better do your bookkeeping so you're not overpaying.
Yeah.
Things like that. Does this sound exciting or what?
I think it sounds exciting. Like, I love being roped back into a good topic of like, I'm not as organized as I should be. I mean, there are many different ways that I could be more organized than I am right now. I always love hearing this stuff, and I think it's important to know the trials and tribulations. But before we get into that, quick shout out to our sponsor, of course.
Oh, of course.
Penny Bees, handcrafted soap. Bring out the soap, ladies and gentlemen. Bare Essentials. These are honey-based, palm oil-free. They're essential oil blends, and they use natural colors, natural ingredients everywhere. They smell great. They look great. They feel great. Pennybees.com is going to be your website to order the soap. Now, if you enter the code SHED, S-H-E-D, in the promo code, you get 10% off lifetime purchases of your soap. These things make great gifts. Your spouse will love you. Your kids will love you more. This is not clinically proven, but they are very good soaps. So check them out, please.
And believe it or not, we're not getting paid from Penny Bees. We got 3 bars of soap from them, and that's how much love they get from us now.
No, I just think it's great. It's a great product.
I do rub their soap on my naked body when I'm in the shower, and I enjoy it, and I'm going to keep talking about it.
Yeah.
So until these bars of soap run out,
every time we use a new one, we're just like, next week it's going to be one.
We're getting close to being done with the first bar.
I'm done with 1.5. We share. Shared custody. Nope. So pennybees.com, promo codes SHED for 10% off your order. Let's get into the episode.
Yes, and we're going to skip the smelling salts today. We'll do it next time.
Okay.
All right. Hey, so when you're flipping houses, or just buying and selling rentals, it's easy to overlook the small things. So here are some mistakes that I've made that I'd like to share.
I love it.
And
you've made a lot of mistakes.
Here's an ongoing mistake that I keep making, and I don't know how to stop myself from making this mistake other than just the continued pain that builds up of overpaying for insurance.
Okay.
Now, it's not like I'm not getting quotes. I am. I'm usually running it by a couple different people. Well, usually one person, and he'll get multiple quotes with different insurances. And I've tried other people. I like Josh TV.
Okay.
With Guardian Insurance. If you're in North Idaho, he's a great guy for flips. However, the mistake I typically make, even though I have a checklist, when I am done with the project, when I finish the house and when the house sells, when I fix and flip a house, I almost always forget, even though I have a checklist of things to do and it's on the checklist, to email my insurance guy and say, hey, we sold this house. Can you cancel the insurance and refund anything that may not be anything that's not used.
Sure.
So essentially, a lot of the times when you're buying fix and flip insurance, it's good for like a year,
Right.
or
Yeah.
or whatever, and typically it's wrapped in the closing cost, and you might be paying $1,000, $2,000 for a 12-month insurance plan on whatever, depending on the property type and all that stuff.
Sure.
The mistake I make is, it'll be about a 6-month project, and I'll forget to cancel it. And they can backdate a little bit, but only so much.
Sure. You got
The
to be kind
problem
of within
comes.
that little like gray
The
area.
problem comes is when I get that renewal notice a year later, and I'm like, shit.
All right.
They can't backdate. They can't backdate that much.
So
I always ask. They can backdate like maybe 3 months or so. But 3 months from a year is like, it's just not. Typically, I'm not getting anything back.
Right.
So I just burn through. Easily. I think my average is about $300 every time I screw up of how much money I lose. $300 is, it adds up, especially when you're doing a few a year.
Yeah, you're doing 4 to 5 flips a year. That's like $1,500 just right there.
Yeah. But I think on this most recent one that I realized I screwed up on, I could have saved like $900 if I would have canceled it in time. Or at least within a couple months.
Okay. I want to talk about this, and I know you said like it's your fault and it's on your checklist, but like, I want to get to the bottom of like why do you not call?
I just don't think about it,
even though it's on your checklist.
I don't print my checklist. That's
so then there's your there's your solution.
That's one of the big things.
Yeah,
one of the big things on the checklist is to and this checklist, I forgot what it consists of because I haven't looked at it in a year and a half. Maybe that's my problem.
Sure,
I'm pretty well organized these days.
Sure, seems like it.
This little piece, gosh, it sucks. I keep forgetting.
So, like the old saying is like insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, right? Like, I don't know what you expect to change when it's coming and you do 5 to 6 of these a year. I'm not trying to pick on you. I just think like, dude, like this is an easy fix.
It's such an easy fix.
Print out your goddamn checklist and like literally check it off. That's all you need to do.
The reason I'm talking about it out loud is because I'm not the only one.
Right. But this gives you accountability at the same time. Just like do the thing, man.
Yeah. Well, it's happened so much this last year again. And I felt like 2024 was a pretty good year where I was pretty good about calling, and because I only flipped a couple houses.
Sure. Yeah. You weren't too busy with it.
Calling and emailing and just saying, hey, good news. We sold this property. Can you cancel the insurance and just, refund anything extra?
Yeah.
That's already prepaid. So yeah, that's one of the big things. And all I got to do, like I'm closing on a flip next week. The insurance on these 2 lots are very cheap. But I keep having it. It's like in my mind every day, like, oh, as soon as that closes, I need to email my insurance guy.
Are these the Pinehurst ones?
Yeah.
Cool. You're closing. Congratulations.
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, finally sold those.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, that's one of the big ones. It sounds simple. Sounds like it. Why wouldn't you? But like when you get a flush of cash in your bank account, you typically are doing a bunch of stuff. You're paying off debts, paying off credit cards, on to the next project.
Yep.
You're picking up you're getting your lockbox. And the next thing that I forget sometimes, calling the utility company and telling them to go ahead and cancel my account as of this closing date.
Sure. Okay.
That one has also been unforgiving sometimes. And I just recently, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I just paid a $230 bill for the buyers that bought a house in Bonners Ferry a year ago.
Okay. Wow.
So my mistake, I didn't realize a Vista was serving the gas. Obviously, it's very common. A Vista usually does all the gas in North Idaho.
Sure.
I didn't even think about it. I forgot that I even opened an account for it. But what I remember, with Bonners Ferry actually provides the power.
Okay.
So I thought when I called and canceled all the utilities that I was all good. Totally forgot about a Vista, that there's a gas bill that piles up. And I forgot to, on that, whenever I opened that account, I forgot to just put it on my register of things to keep track of.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't even getting notified via mail or anything that this account existed.
Gotcha.
I didn't find out till I got a letter in the mail saying, hey, this is going to go to collections soon if you don't pay this. And this was 6 months later.
Okay, yeah.
But it was only $230.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, geez. I call them like, when did the buyer or when did the new owner take over? They're like, just last month. Like, so I've been paying this for the new owner for 5 months. They're like, yeah, we don't know when you closed.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, we closed in this May date or whatever.
They're like, well, you didn't tell
And they're
us.
like, yeah, you can call the buyer and see if they'll backdate it. But we can't backdate it for you.
Right.
And I was just like, damn it.
Yeah.
So I get a hold of the agent and I'm like, hey, can you have your buyers backdate, just do the right thing and backdate this for when they took ownership of the house?
Yeah.
Because I have a bill here that just went underneath me. I just didn't notice it until now. I thought I canceled utilities, but apparently I didn't.
Yeah.
And she said, sure, I'll take care of it. And then it didn't happen. I had to follow up again a month later. I totally forgot about it. I checked in with Vista. No, they didn't take over. And I checked in with her again. I'm like, hey, do you mind? I'm like, this is about to go to collections. Do you mind getting some feedback real quick if they're going to do this or not? And she sent back a message like they were extremely offended and they don't feel like they use that much in gas. And they just think you're an evil person. Like what? I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah,
of course.
$230 for 5 months.
Just the fact that I asked them to do the right thing is probably my language. I'm like, can you ask them to do the right thing and go backdate it
probably
to when they actually took ownership?
Yeah.
But apparently I offended them. And then, but she didn't necessarily say that they weren't going to do it. They just said that they were very offended. And they'll get back to me the next day. They were fuming.
Okay. I forgot
about
down.
it again. Okay, here's the thing. I forgot about it again. I was just going to be like, oh, well, we'll see if they actually do it. Like I'm at the point where I'll just pay the bill.
Yeah.
It's $230. It's not worth ruining my credit over.
Right.
It's not yet in collections. I put it to the side. I let all those bills pile up. That most of them are auto pay and everything. I went on vacation last month, totally forgot about it. And then I finally, yesterday, I was going through my stack of, 60 different bills and stuff, just making sure everything's good and updating numbers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Most of these bills, again, are on auto pay.
Right. You just get the paper statement
I just go through and just make sure everything's accurate and, go through and update numbers.
Cool.
And then, and then this thing is on the very bottom and I'm like, oh, shoot. I'm like, let me call Vista, see if this ever got taken care of.
Yeah.
And they told me, yeah, we sent that to collections on Monday.
Oh, good.
This was 2 days late. This was a Wednesday when
good.
I called on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Jeremy, I have not had a late payment on my credit report since 2010. 16 years. So my new credit, I have perfect credit. Like it doesn't show on my credit that I've ever been late on anything.
Right.
But this went to collections and I was just like, holy shit. Like I'm a guy that pays my bills. Like I have the 800 credit score. And that's one thing I'm like proud of. Like, look, even with the financial mess I went through, at least all my bills always got paid. And I was just so nervous. So I called, she gave me the number of the collection company. They couldn't do anything at that point. I called the collection company and they had no information on it yet.
Yeah.
So they have to wait till it gets through and process. So I'm going to have to follow up on it again next week. But it's just like, this all spawned from me just not canceling the insurance or the utility.
Yeah.
All the utilities.
Yeah. This thing got a trickle down effect for you.
Not just, well, this all stemmed from just, I already have a checklist and this is on the checklist.
That you don't look at or
I just didn't. I did for a couple properties.
I know.
It got so bad I had to make a checklist.
That's good. I think that's how you optimize. So like, okay, what's not working?
But now I forget to print the checklist when I sell a house. So this all stemmed from me just not following my systems and processes that I put in place.
Yeah.
This all could have been avoided. Now there's a good chance, according to Vista and this collection agency, they're like, it's probably not going to hit your credit right away as long as you just take care of it.
Yeah.
But you're in jeopardy here. So
yeah, you're in jeopardy, buddy.
Like,
your 800 credit score is going to get completely ruined by
it will.
It won't get completely ruined.
Yeah, I can't take that
You
risk.
might go down to like 780.
Well, here's the deal. When I first started selling real estate, if you had any late payments at
Mhm.
all on anything,
Yeah.
you wouldn't qualify for a mortgage for a year.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to refinance an RV park right now. I can't screw up my credit at this time. That's just like I just can't do it.
Does the
Like,
business have credit? Does Nick Estates LLC have credit?
no, it's an RV park LLC, but it,
Okay.
it
Oh, yeah.
relies on it
Sure.
relies still on me and my credit, and also the RV has to hold up and
Yeah.
have its own not
Yeah.
just bank account, but like completely its own good books, 2 years of good tax returns and
Yeah.
incomes and all that stuff.
For sure.
But they still look at the broad when they make a commercial like that, loan like that, they still, even though it's mostly weighted on that business,
Mhm.
they got to look at you as a person,
Yep.
you operating it, and look at your whole financial situation to see if they're going to do the loan.
Yeah.
So that's something people don't tell you if they just preach, hey, it's just a business. So go get the business loan, build up your business credit. You still got to
Right.
be responsible on your end
Yeah.
too.
You still got a personal guarantee.
Once
Most
you
of it.
get into the real world of like banking and financing and stuff, just because you have a business, they still look at the broader picture.
Yeah.
And they're going to make choices based off common sense versus, well, this is just a box.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, like, I guess like common sense. Yeah, yes, you should take care of it 100%. But like in the grand scheme of things, like if they're looking at your credit score and they're like, he makes $1 million a year and he had $200 go to collections, he's probably okay.
Well, it justifies them bumping the interest rate up.
Sure.
Which that $200 could easily turn into $3,000 a year.
Yeah.
That you'll pay more in interest every year just because you screwed up on a $200 bill or something like that. So it's there are serious financial consequences for being irresponsible.
Sure.
That have long-term bad side effects.
Is there any way to like put it in your system, or like I know you wanted a printed out checklist for when you close on a property, but like is there any way to like have it on a computer, like a Google Sheets, where it auto pings you like, hey, this is closing. It's time to go through your checklist.
I think I can easily set up like an open cloud or something like that to do that.
Yeah.
And just like, hey, monitor my emails, and anytime you see that there's a closing, email me the checklist. And then just keep emailing it to me every day until I say that it's been done or something like that.
Yeah.
You can set things up like that.
Yeah. And I guess what I'm asking is like obviously like I get distracted too and I get overwhelmed by things. So sometimes things gets pushed to the side, but on something like this, where it's an easy thing, like you've got the systems in place, you just need to execute on the systems you've done.
Yep. Working on it, Jeremy.
I know you're working on it, but like
but yeah, this is why I'm having this discussion, is just like, I'm just pulling my pants down and showing you how small it is.
Yeah. I mean, I'll show mine if you show yours, but like,
and how to not be so small.
Yeah.
You got to warm it up with with better organization.
Better organization. Ladies love it when you get better organized. That's true.
Yeah.
No, that's a good idea. And like I said, like if this is something as simple, obviously every checklist is going to be different. So like having a base checklist of like cancel your insurance, cancel this, but like on these special ones where like, hey, don't forget to cancel the Avista that you set up, which is separate from the city utilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like having like an extra notes.
Yep.
Extra place to put all your extra things in.
Yeah. And the problem there was like the setup too, because I thought I did it at that time. I thought I took care of the utilities, but I missed one.
Right.
Yeah. So that was bad setup on my part.
Cool. And then maybe it just comes down to like follow through with other things too. Like obviously once you close, if there's anything you miss, double check and call these utility companies yourself. Hey, just close on this property, just making sure we're good. I got no extra weird things on this one.
Yep.
Great. Cool.
Now this is a hot take. This is my opinion. This is my experience. Hey, quick commercial break here. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I really do appreciate it. If you want to give back, let me help you buy a house, or I can help you sell a house. It's the only way I make money when I'm not investing in real estate. I don't make money on this podcast or the events I do, but I do make money only when I help people buy and sell houses. So if you're looking for your next investment and you're here in North Idaho, I want to help you personally. If you are not in North Idaho, I can still help you out. I have a vast network of referral partners all across the country, and I can find the right real estate investor savvy agent for you so you don't have to. It doesn't cost you a thing. Thank you for your support. Back to the show. A lot of people are not going to agree with this.
Okay.
Here's one of the biggest mistakes I ever made. I hired a bookkeeper.
Okay.
In an age where I'm I'm an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
I move money around. I need my biggest asset is knowing where my money is
Mm-hmm.
and what I'm doing with it. Um, and I thought I can outsource that to somebody to just handle all the money
Sure.
issues that didn't know what to anticipate with my brain and what happens. And I didn't realize just how easy some of these tools are. They're confusing at first.
Mm-hmm.
QuickBooks Online can be very confusing and intimidating
Yep.
for anyone who hasn't used it. You got to just take a few hours to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you do, in my opinion, probably a lot of people won't agree with this, but in my opinion, a bookkeeper gets in the way
Sure.
of you because what the bookkeeper wants is for you to give them all the stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then they take all that stuff and they put it in QuickBooks.
Sure.
It takes longer, in my experience, for you to get all this stuff to the human,
Mm-hmm.
um, instead of you to just give it to QuickBooks,
Sure.
because it is so easy these days to get what you need into QuickBooks. You just sync your accounts.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you an email that you can just, with your phone, if you have receipts and stuff, I can just, I just take picture of like 7 receipts,
Mm-hmm.
and this is all for this project. After I go into my iPhone and I look at my photos and I select all 7 and I hit the email button
Mm-hmm.
and I email it to my very top pick is my QuickBooks email.
Mm-hmm.
And that email gets sent to my QuickBooks account, and all those receipts are just there magically waiting, and they know the amounts for me to categorize transactions later.
Sure.
And then it will also put that receipt in there too.
Nice.
Just for, and then once a week, I try to do this once a week instead of once a month
Yeah.
or whatever.
It sucks when you get behind on it. Like I got
Yeah.
behind on mine. I'm almost caught up, but like when
But
you get
once a
behind,
week,
it hurts.
I click in the bank transactions
Mhm.
tab in QuickBooks, and I go through each credit card and each bank account, and I just grab each one. And now with AI, it's remembering what you did the month before and the month before that. So it's getting easier at kind of like predicting what you're going to pick.
Yeah.
And it autofills a lot of this.
Yeah.
You just have to hit confirm. But the amount of money I wasted by this not being done correctly,
Mhm.
or being confused or having, run through me and then 2 other humans until it gets categorized,
Yeah.
was a complete disaster
Sure.
and a complete mess. Because in my business, the way I run it, you just need to be in control of the money and know and categorize the money properly.
Right.
Because if it's not, there are serious consequences for you not having your books straight.
Yeah.
And sometimes the biggest culprit is you just relying on somebody else to read your brain.
Sure.
and sometimes they don't do a good job of reading your mind and following up on it. If they really can't read their mind, they might just do whatever is more convenient at that time, or categorize it incorrectly because you didn't write down something or didn't relay the message.
Yeah.
Or just put it in a completely separate folder to check on later, and then you find out about it months later.
Sure.
And you're like, oh wow, there's almost 200 grand of expenses here that were never categorized. I've already paid out all these partners on all these projects.
Yeah.
No wonder I'm broke.
Yeah.
I paid them more than I should have.
Sure.
Because all these expenses never got categorized.
Mhm.
I thought these books were done. She said they were done. But there's all these expenses that were never categorized, which those books were not actually done. So
Sure.
you end up paying for it.
Right.
So my experience is get a little savvy with QuickBooks. It doesn't take much savviness.
Mhm.
Categorize your own transaction. Especially if you have partners, look it over a couple of times. Make sure that every dollar that was spent through credit cards is updated and categorized correctly.
Mhm.
It would have saved me an insane amount of money. It's almost disturbing talking about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, any questions?
Yeah, a lot of questions. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, where to start?
Yeah.
And like I know, Nick, this is your own personal experience, of course.
Yeah.
So like you saying like you don't need a bookkeeper is, I think, very much opinion, and that's okay.
Here's my hot take and my theory on that. You don't need it because usually your bookkeeper is using QuickBooks or something.
Sure.
QuickBooks is a bookkeeper.
Sure.
QuickBooks is the bookkeeper.
Sure.
So by adding a human in the mix, you're more likely to confuse things and make inaccuracies
Sure.
than if you were just to go, the information, you just relay it directly to QuickBooks because that is the bookkeeper.
Sure. Again, like I'm playing devil's advocate here. I don't
Yes.
care if you do or don't use a bookkeeper, but I think everyone's businesses is not shaped like yours. You know what I mean? Like some
True.
people, like they don't have time. Like I don't have, like, I want to hire a bookkeeper because QuickBooks is overwhelming for me. You know what I mean? And then when I'm overwhelmed, nothing gets done anyway. So like if I could have somebody to talk to, just be like, hey, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here. I don't know how to do that, but can you make that happen?
Yep.
That sounds great to me.
Yeah.
But again, like this is like everyone's got their own completely separate businesses, how they run things. I know when you had a bookkeeper, you had multiple flips going on at once.
Yeah.
That was
very
That
complicated.
was when we called you over leveraged Nick Beveridge. And again, I'm not saying anything bad about the bookkeeper or you, but I think it was a perfect pairing and a perfect storm where it didn't make sense.
Yeah. And again, I'm blaming myself here, not the bookkeeper.
Yeah.
I'm just saying for me and my setup and investing in real estate the way I do, it was a horrible mistake.
Right.
It was a horrible mistake to just rely on somebody to fix all your financial problems.
Yeah.
That didn't have the complete story.
Sure.
and didn't sometimes bother to get the complete story when they said it was done.
Right. And I think your complete stories, go ahead, sorry.
And here's where it really hurt too. We had multiple LLCs. And they were going to handle, communicating with my CPA for taxes. And they didn't get any of the information in time, before March 15th to, hey, here are these new LLCs. Can you get these business extension files done?
Yeah.
That you'll need since the taxes aren't going to be done in time.
Right.
But with LLCs, you need those business, you need to file for extensions a month before your personal stuff.
Yep.
March 15th versus April 15th. April 15th is when taxes are due. March 15th is when the business
corporations have to
either file or ask for ask for more time.
Yeah. Also, always ask for more time, by the way. Like that is a very good strategy.
Yep. So there were about 10 or 12 in 2021 of my businesses that never asked for an extension.
Sure.
Which resulted in over 25 grand in fees from the IRS. And the bookkeeper didn't care. My CPA didn't care. It was just on me.
Yeah.
And I've been fighting those I got a few of them released. I've been fighting them for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then it happened again in 2022. Just wasn't filed in time on a few different LLCs.
Yeah.
Fighting those, got some released. The IRS is nice to me on some of them, strict on others. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It just, I guess it depends on who's processing it on that day.
Yeah.
I just keep sending the same message. Like, here's proof that it went out. I've got proof with from these CPAs that give me postage proof that, hey, they did send out. We're trying to get the fees released. Okay. Some of them have, but I think sometimes we were just asking for actually, I don't think we were completely being fraudulent on some of them. I think we were just like, hey, here's email back and forth of me sending this to my CPA. It never got relayed. Could you just forgive us here?
Yeah.
And I think that actually worked a couple of times, but not on all of them.
And don't expect it to work on all of them.
It's been a complete, it sucks when you get, every month, bills from the IRS that say, hey, you still owe this, or, hey, we're looking into that.
Yeah. Well,
it's always a little bit of anxiety opening this because it's only like 1 in 8 is when it's like, good news, we're going to forgive you on this one.
Those are the thinner envelopes.
Most of the time,
thicker ones are like,
most of the time it's, hey, we need 60 days to review this again. And then sometimes it's just, hey, we're putting a lien on this.
Yeah. Hey,
we're going to put a lien on you on this one.
Due, man.
This went to collections, and you're just like, gosh, come on.
Yeah.
So it's a true nightmare. Obviously, it's on me. I know when business filing extensions are due. I've known that for a long time. I need to be better at not just relying on other people to make sure that they filed that for me.
Yeah.
And I need to make sure that it's actually done.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to recommend you guys do as well. If you're running multiple LLCs, you can't just rely on other people to make sure it's done. if you don't ask.
Yeah.
If you don't ask in time.
Right.
So yeah, that's a big one. This year, first year ever since I've been in real estate, where my taxes are done.
Holy moly!
Before
mine
March
aren't even
15th.
done yet.
They were done a week ago.
Yeah.
So that was a relief. I think it's because I've been a lot more organized lately, and
Yeah.
he was able to just like get it done quicker.
Yeah.
I also was my tax bill is like half what it normally is.
Nice.
Not my tax bill, my tax preparation bill for my CPA.
Oh, cool. It's because I think you cut down on all the amount of LLCs and stuff.
There's less LLCs.
Yeah, those are like
sure.
$500 a pop every time they have to file a thing. So
more income,
mm-hmm.
and I'm getting $6,800 back.
Wow,
which is cool.
A return?
A return.
Crazy.
Even though I didn't pay taxes.
Yeah.
So thank you, Tom Robinson.
Yeah.
He's been on the
Robinson
podcast.
Financial.
With Robinson.
Pretty good guy. Tom and Tyler over there, they work magic. Again,
they're kicking out investors.
Good job for taking extreme ownership on that, because obviously, like I said, every situation is different if you need a bookkeeper or not. I do know, like, when I was involved in those businesses, it was chaos.
Yeah, it was.
I
was just doing too much.
We were working on Violet at that time, and that was one of the things. But I do very vividly remember your contractors like buying multiple things for multiple properties on the same credit card.
Yeah, on the same credit card.
Right, and
but they were instructed to use, but do different transactions.
I don't think they did.
That is very possible. Yeah, right. Because you're just relying on other people to do.
I remember that happening a couple times. I'm like, that feels like it'd be hard to track. And like, that was literally my thought. Like, how the fuck are you going to track that? How do you know which trusses go to what and which nails go to what?
Yeah.
Anyway, like, those are all small things, but like, that's probably how stuff gets thrown into this. We don't know what this is category.
So any contractor or project manager that's ever worked with me in the past, they know that I've been very adamant about, like, hey, each project has their own partners.
Yeah. Do you know who your contractors are?
Well, the ones I didn't trust, I never gave a credit card.
Sure. I'm like, no offense to Sean, we love your brother, but he's not good with books.
I never gave Sean credit card.
Okay, I don't know who gets it.
My Lowe's account,
sure.
but they are those. Every time you do a purchase, you just give them a PO number for that proper address.
Got it. But then what's stopping you from like buying multiple things on one PO?
What's stopping me?
Yeah, like if he was buying things for this house and then just putting them on one PO.
Sean doesn't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen him do that?
I have not seen him do that, but I remember very vividly, like, oh, y'all put these on like one credit card, and it was one transaction, and it was like they were buying different things for different properties.
Okay. Was it labeled what was for what?
No.
Who did that?
I don't remember. I have no idea.
Okay.
But just, it felt like it was a very easy thing for somebody who was maybe in the construction game to be like, oh, I don't know what this goes to. We've been instructed to buy all these things. Let's just put them on one receipt so we don't have to sit in line for a long time.
Okay. Yeah, because at that time I only had 2 people that had credit cards.
Okay. Well, you had your...
and then there was a Lowe's account.
Sure. And I could be wrong. I remember thinking like, this looks like it could get complicated very quickly. I don't know the back end of that, so whatever that looks like. Yeah.
And that was the whole point of, we had those meetings constantly, and they were always supposed to give me the receipts so that these could be categorized correctly.
Right. But then why weren't they categorized correctly?
Because I'm a bookkeeper.
Right. But then if your contractors are writing on the receipt saying like Violet or Sheldon, whatever sheet, whatever receipt, and then that gets categorized, and you look at the receipt, that should tell you exactly where that goes, but that didn't happen.
Well, okay. No. So here are some of the issues.
Mm-hmm.
We always got the receipts, and we can always see transactions online.
Sure.
So we always had to match them up.
Sure.
The problem also with the bookkeeper, which I didn't find out for months later, was if she didn't know what it was for, instead of calling and asking me, they would put it in a separate folder in QuickBooks.
Yeah.
Or a project called uncategorized expenses.
Got it.
Which I guess they were going to get to later or something.
Sure.
But it added up to somewhere between $100,000 and $200,000. I can't remember because it's been a couple of years, but I remember it was an outstanding amount.
Yeah.
And almost all of these transactions were already closed out.
Meaning
that the house had been already built and sold.
Yep.
Or the fix and flip had already been done and paid out, and partners paid out.
Yeah.
So the only blood would be bleeding from me
Sure.
because all those if they were categorized where they should have been, then the profit would have been lower
Yep.
on each transaction.
Yeah.
Or sorry, each project. And that way, and then partners would have a little lower split.
Sure. But you could still take the write-off for them. It's not the same, but like you could still.
It was a tremendous problem.
Sure. Okay.
Because it already happened.
Right.
Everyone got paid out, and then I found out I paid everybody too much.
Sure.
Like by a staggering amount.
Got it.
And it was scattered over like 20 different properties.
Right.
But let's say it was $150,000.
Right.
Something like that of expenses that were never categorized that I just ate.
Sure.
So I just gave everybody a bigger split, and that's why I couldn't figure out, why do I never have money?
Sure.
It's because I just wasn't organized enough.
Yeah.
Or I didn't take charge. I gave myself too much to do, or I didn't have time to do the books.
Right.
I could have made time.
Sure.
But I thought I can just offload that too.
Yeah.
I was thinking like, you could just hire everybody to do stuff. And as long as the project's profitable, everything should be fine.
Yeah. Right. Hey, it sounds good in theory.
Sounds good in theory. In practice, it's just tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you can also take the things you've learned from bookkeeping and, being organized, and you can apply them to the next thing. So if you end up getting another bookkeeper, which I don't think you're gonna, but like you can just make sure like, hey, if there's any, you can have these conversations like, hey, don't put anything into uncategorized, or if you do, we need to have conversations about it weekly. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like these conversations need to happen. And you've learned what you don't want in a bookkeeper. So I think in theory, you've also learned what you could enjoy in a bookkeeper.
Yeah. I've also simplified the process a little bit more to where like, so if I have a couple different flips going on, like one in Kellogg right now, one in Post Falls, each of those contractors are just working on those projects.
Yeah, that's good.
They're not going from one to the other like before, where I had a project managers all over the place and they got a card and they're just trying to keep everything separate. So for instance, like Joey, he's got my Robinhood card. And now I know, from a certain date to whenever this project's closed, all those Robinhood transactions, I can easily just click the material button, which project it goes for, it's done.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Right.
And then the same one, I've got an STCU card that I gave to Paige to finish my Kellogg house with.
Nice.
And all I have to do is go to that. I get all the receipts from her. I just scan them into QuickBooks real quick, or I don't even have to scan them in. I just email them.
Yeah, it's great.
And then I could just like highlight all that, in QuickBooks, all the transactions, click materials, done.
Nice.
I mean, obviously I'll scan it over real quick, make sure she wasn't going to Bardenay's or whatever.
right.
But it's that easy.
Yeah.
I got an RV park. They have a debit card for any time they need to go get random supplies. Every time they come, I see them once a month. They give me a bag of money. They give me my quarters, and they give me an envelope that has receipts in it.
Nice.
And then I can see the transactions that they made that match up with the receipts, but I don't have to look that hard. I just click all.
Yeah.
And then that debit card, all of it is just simply supplies for the RV park.
You're going to refinance your RV park?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm refinancing it right now. I put in my application finally with
Numerica. Cool. Sorry to divert you. I forgot about that, and that's pretty interesting too. Are you on a hard money loan with that right now, or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So we have, but I went. So now that I have separate projects with separate people. They have separate cards. It's so much easier to do the books.
Yeah. Do you think that would have been beneficial while you had a bookkeeper, though? Like that process that you have right now, do you think it would have made it easier for your bookkeeper to do her job and then not create that animosity between you two?
Sure. And I don't think there was much animosity until after I said I couldn't afford you anymore. Right. And then I realized just how bad things were after the fact. Sure. Like, holy crap, this was not worth it.
Sure.
I was spending like almost, $2,000 a month at first. And then when I had way less projects, it went down to like $1,300 a month. But I just don't see the value in when you could just go to QuickBooks and just quickly categorize the stuff, because you still have to relay the information to a human.
Sure.
Why not just go in and quickly just do it and it's done?
Yeah.
Now I still have someone doing my taxes.
Right.
And bringing everything together.
Yeah.
But I just don't see the value in hiring a bookkeeper, because I just feel like it's more of a hassle to not only keep up on one person to make sure they're doing things correctly, but then also kind of verify with QuickBooks to make sure, does that also kind of align with my common sense algorithm of what about we spent on this?
Sure.
It's just, I just don't need to trust anybody anymore.
Sure.
I could just trust myself that I don't have to, there's no trust anymore. It's just, I just do it.
Yeah.
And it's backed up by two different, the receipts and the transactions on the bank accounts and the credit cards that are all synced up.
Yeah.
It's just so much easier to just be in control of it.
Yeah.
Is it extra work? Yeah, but I think it's super important. It's just my opinion. My hot take is that being in control of your finances as a business owner is something that you just shouldn't let go of that control that easily.
Right.
Unless you're on some other level where you,
right.
Like but if it's a small business, I think you should be on top of it and just learn how to do it. And it'll become quicker and quicker as you figure it out.
Yeah.
And then when you figure it out and you're using QuickBooks, they call it QuickBooks for a reason, because it's quick.
Sure.
It would be harder to hire somebody at this point to have them step in between me and QuickBooks, because they're just going to use QuickBooks anyway.
Sure.
Because that's
you're going to give them access to your QuickBooks.
Because QuickBooks is like the product. That's what everybody uses. Yeah. It's just easy for everybody.
Yeah.
So it just wouldn't make any sense now that I know how it works and how easy it is. I don't think I would ever hire somebody to take over that role, because it would just be, why would I make it more complex?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not sure if you follow.
Most of it's AI anyway.
Right.
It's very, it auto categorizes it and you just kind of confirm things.
Yeah. Not sure if you follow Jace Perry on Facebook. I know you guys had a weird thing, but he just fired his bookkeeper, and it's all AI now. So he has AI ping him every time a receipt comes into his email, and then it just gets categorized based off what he says. And it's like, that's easy.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a different way to approach it. QuickBooks is it just seems to be getting better and easier to use.
What's the industry standard on this stuff?
And it's the industry standard.
Yeah. Like I've tried
nothing against bookkeepers. I'm just saying for my experience.
For your experience, correct.
My experience, I just don't see the value.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I think a lot of people can, a lot of people can't. Like it's something like, I do my own books, but do I see value in like not having to like mess with that system as much as I mess with it? Because I get lost.
Sure.
And I'm like, what kind of expenses? Is this photo video? Is this like, and just trying to figure out like what exactly everything is and how it actually makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a lot for somebody who doesn't know.
That's true. And you make a valid point. There's a lot of people that just don't like working with numbers. Right. And they don't like doing it at all.
Right.
Like, and it might be appropriate for those type of people. I'm weird. I've always kind of liked math. I've always been fine with numbers.
Yeah.
But I think if you're in real estate investing, most people default to that personality anyway.
Sure.
I just don't think, since the show is more about like real estate investing.
Yeah.
I think most people would agree with me that it's just easier to manage your own finances,
to a point,
than to have somebody else step in and do it for you. Sure. Unless you're someone like Sean, or a contractor out there that's just like super kind of, bad with money, but great with working and taking action. And if they have someone that they can trust, that can just like, hey, just give me the receipts, and I'll tell you which cards to use, and I'll manage everything on the back end.
Yeah.
That might work great for someone like that.
Yeah.
That's just not going to do it.
Right.
That's not going to do their books.
And like it does make sense for someone like me too, in like real estate photography.
Sure.
Like someone who's like busy like 24/7, like taking time out of my day to be like, I wonder what my expenses are. It's a lot, because I'm constantly doing other things.
Yeah.
And if I can free up that portion of my mind to not think about it, I think it is worth it. But it also depends on the price and value, and like there's a lot of factors. But just it may be worth it. It may not be worth it.
Yeah.
Do your own due diligence, of course.
And I guess what I'm really just trying to do is just encourage people to not overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
Because it's not that complicated these days. You don't have to sit there with one of those big old calculators that prints off, that like prints stuff off on its own. It's not like that. You don't need like the green hat when you're doing it. You just simply need to look at like, the helpful thing about this too is you'll catch things that may be like, oh, I thought I canceled that subscription, or what's this, Nigerian charge of $600 through Xbox.
Yeah,
that wasn't me.
That wasn't me.
I think there's fraud. Yeah. You might catch stuff, or like, why did my electrician charge me twice? It was a mistake, but I caught it.
Yeah,
things like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's important, whether you hate it or not, to be in charge of your finances if your whole business is to bring in money.
Sure. And like I'm gonna go a step out of like bookkeeping, of course, because we talked about this before on either on the Investor Said Zoom or on here, but I have the same problem with my CRM.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that thing is so overly complicated.
Yeah.
And like every time I touch it and I open it, I'm like, all right, let's crack this out.
Brain start hurting?
Yeah. Like I go into like overdrive and then I'm like clicking buttons I've never clicked before, researching like the dumbest fucking things I've ever seen about this website, not the basics.
Yeah.
And then like 4 hours later, I'm like, I did nothing. I have no idea what I've done, but I know I wasted 4 hours. And like something like that is kind of how I feel about QuickBooks on the back end.
Like a CRM? Oh, that sucks.
Just like I get in and I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah, because the CRM, if you guys don't know what that is, customer relations management system, it's like it's like you're organizing the people in your life, or your customers, and like that's their data on here, and you're organizing it, and you're putting up tasks and follow ups and notes, and it does hurt funnels. It hurts my brain too.
Yeah,
every time I get into a CRM and start messing with it, I'm just like, screw this. Yeah. I don't want, like, I'll just pick up the phone and if I'm slow.
Right.
I fall into the same trap, the mindset. So you're not alone there.
Right.
I agree with you. But my head starts hurting too when I'm in a CRM.
What I'm getting at is like that is what I would call a distraction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's me thinking I'm going to do good work, but the best work I can do is honestly just working and continuing to serve my people. If I can hire this piece out and like tell somebody else how I need it ran and just push the button for me to do it, that'd be great. Like I'll pay the money. It's the time that I have a problem with.
Yeah,
because I'm trying to have it be like, hey,
you don't want your head to hurt.
Yeah, I'm trying to have like, hey, create these funnels so when people click this, I get their email. When I get their email, create them a follow up. Like I'm having it do like a big thing.
Yep,
that I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, I will admit my head hurt when I first started looking at QuickBooks for like the first like 3 years.
Yeah,
and I just kind of putting it off, and I had it, and I was paying for it, and I was just like, I don't really understand it.
Yeah,
and tried to get other people to use it and stuff instead of me. I remember the first job of the project manager that I first hired. I was like, your job is to figure out for QuickBooks.
I love
it. And I put that on my personal assistant too. Neither of them ever did.
Right.
But it's so much easier now. I kind of know what I'm doing, and there it's just easy.
Yeah.
And I actually don't even use it to its full potential either. I just mostly use it to track expenses.
Yeah.
I don't even bring in any of the income, and I don't send out invoices.
Right.
Like there's so much you can do.
I only send QuickBooks invoices when people don't pay me through my normal website.
Yeah.
And I have to go after a couple people, but it's fine.
Yeah. And if you don't know what that means, sending invoices like sending a bill to somebody, like saying, hey, you owe me money.
Yeah.
Here's an email of an easy way to pay it from
Here's
QuickBooks.
the easiest way to pay it, right with this email link.
Yeah. So anyway, last thing I want to talk about, my experience being disorganized and how I've cleaned it up a little bit. Back this goes along with my over leveraged Nick Beveridge trying to do too much. I made the mistake of thinking that it would be more simple to have basically my one main business account, even though I had several.
Yep.
That paid almost all the bills. So I would transfer money from all these different accounts constantly to this account and deposit almost everything into this one account to pay all the bills. And every so often, like every 2 weeks, I would say, I would misjudge just how much is coming out and didn't transfer enough money and wind up with overdraft fees. And it got nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, in 1 year, in 2021, 2022-ish, like 1 or 2 years, I think I had a couple $1,000s worth of overdraft fees each year.
Dang.
It was happening multiple times a month. And it was completely avoidable because I had the money.
Sure.
I was just trying to pay everything through one account.
Right.
For all these different properties and projects and things. I thought it would be easier that way. In 2024 is when I started getting just kind of reset my whole business and got way more organized and and I also started separating my assets too, like
smart.
My the rentals that I had. I wanted to make sure that they were in their own LLCs, or they were grouped into LLCs if there was like less than $250,000 of equity.
Right.
So I followed Matt Swarenson's rules.
Yeah. Mark Kohler.
Yep. Of that how many LLCs do you use for what kind of properties, and I wound up with like 4 different LLCs, basically. Cool. Sorry, 5.
5.
And those properties, and then I worked with my property manager to like, hey, here are new bank accounts for these properties. When you get money in, make sure they go to the correct bank accounts because they're separate owners.
Yeah.
Even though it's all me.
Sure.
But it's, so now I have my trust, and my trust owns a Wyoming LLC.
Yep.
And that Wyoming LLC owns my Idaho LLCs, and my Idaho LLCs all have their own bank accounts.
Yeah.
So does my Wyoming one.
Yeah.
But so each owner of rental properties has their income from rents going into that account. And this is the key. All the expenses are coming out of that same account too.
Yes. I think that's very important.
And these properties, they do cash flow a little bit. And it's easier to keep an eye on them. So they're paying for themselves, and then I just don't dip into them.
Sure.
So I'm happy to report it's been a couple years, and I think I've had 2 accidental overdraft fees.
Cool.
So like $60 versus like $4,000.
That's pretty good.
Just by separating everything out.
Right.
And so, and everything's almost on, it's like on auto deposit and auto pay.
Yeah.
So I do very little bill paying. Like I just monitor it, and I just like categorize it in QuickBooks. But everything's kind of holding its own weight. And it's just been easier to make sure that each business, each project has its own bank account.
Yeah.
And then when there's a problem with one, then it's easier to identify, let's fix that problem, or let's sell that house because it's just not profitable. It's not holding its own weight.
Sure.
When I had like 15 different rentals, it was hard to kind of tell which ones were worth keeping and which ones weren't, because all the money was coming in one bank account and going out the same one.
Yep.
Now, I'm in love with a couple properties that I have, 3 of them. There's 3 properties that really hold their own weight and all pay for themselves.
Yeah.
And have their own bank accounts. And very rarely do I have to, like, if I need money, I could just borrow from them.
Sure.
So it's just a different way of doing business, but separating your assets is one way, but you got to complete it by separating your assets and having their own bank accounts where their own bills are being paid.
They've got to be like completely separated.
They're all treated completely separately.
I love that. I think that's really good.
Yeah. So it's really helped me, and I recommend people try it.
Cool. I also recommend that you print out your checklist.
Yeah, I'll get on that. We can end this now. I will print off the checklist as long as everybody has a wonderful weekend, and they hit the little thumbs up button.
There's one person out there's like, I'm not going to have a wonderful weekend. Well, then Nick's not going to print off his checklist.
Yeah, don't hit the thumbs up button.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for joining. As always, like Nick said, leave us a 5-star review on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or just give us some love in the comments. We like that too.
And check us out. We are now live on iHeartRadio. Bye.
No, we're not.
Thank you so much for checking out the Investor Shed podcast. If you enjoyed your time, make sure to leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Follow along on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at The Investor Shed for shorts and promos about each episode. Do you want to be a guest or know someone who has great real estate investing advice and stories? Reach out to us at theinvestorshed@gmail.com.